Here, Monday, July 10th, 2017, at 6:33. Can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July weekend, full of fun and fireworks. Meeting minutes for June 19th, 2017.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from June 19th, 2017 as written.
Okay, I have a motion for June 19th. Any, I have a second.
Second.
A motion is second. Any other discussion concerning the minutes? See none. Cameron?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Since we have one of the staff is a little bit late, Mr. Tenzini, I'm gonna move on to the proclamation.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, that's item F, where that a person is a bit delayed. So we can move through the regular order of business if you'd like.
Understood. Thank you so much for noticing that. Okay, induction of new employees, introduction of new employees.
Yeah, I'm going to ask our town accountant, Kelly Pontbriand, to make this introduction.
Board, this is Laura Luma. She is the new assistant town accountant. She comes to us with quite a bit of municipal experience. She's previously worked in Princeton. So far, she started last week. She's doing an excellent job. She's working with Carol Lee and Harper's. She has a lot of experience with Harper's and is going to do a great job for us in working on getting the things done in the payroll system that we need to have done. So,
Great.
Welcome aboard.
thank you.
That's it?
That is for that item, yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's move it on to, great to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, I know you're gonna do great things. Moving on to the proclamation. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at that? Does anybody have any issues, concerns, misconceptions with it?
Not so much as with the proclamation, but of the title itself. Who is to make these recommendations? And is this an annual thing that we do? Or is this the first ever?
This is gonna be, as far as I know of, the first ever, is that right there?
Yes. I mean,
Yes.
we've done proclamations in the past from time to time.
But this one is definitely the first, yes.
Okay, and how is this recommended?
This one was actually recommended through the Friends of Templeton Elders.
Okay. That's it for my questions.
Yep.
So I would make a motion that we sign this proclamation and present it at the same time that we can coordinate with Senator Goby and Rep. Whipsley to do their presentations.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Well, you guys are quick on the draw. I have a motion and a second, that's fantastic. Any other discussion concerning the proclamation?
At what time will the proclamation be read into record?
I would, once it's signed, I think probably at the time of the
Ceremony.
the ceremony,
Okay.
unless you feel that it needs to be read into record today.
No, I think it's more to just let the people know that this is
proclamation regarding Priscilla Leclerc, who has been a longtime resident and advocate of our community, and this is our first ever hometown hero, which Priscilla deservedly was awarded. So I just wanted to make sure that the public is, even on camera thinking, like, what are they signing? So I think to read the rest of it into record later, when both our senator and our representative come, I just wanted to let them know, like, what
Yeah,
that would be
because
about.
obviously they have them as well, and I
Yeah.
would like theirs right into record as
Yeah.
well on the same day. So
But I
figured-
did see pictures over the weekend, and they were beautiful, and I think that was a really amazing thing to do.
As the rain came in, it was great. It was a good time. But yeah, we'll read that into record on that time. So I got a motion, a second, any other discussion concerning the proclamation? I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. You have the original, Holly? The original proclamation?
Yeah.
The one on nice paper? Okay, thank you.
John?
Yes, Gil?
I would just like to say thank you to the entire Board of Selectmen and all the town offices, especially the police department, the fire department, and the Board of Health, for supporting Friends in our community events, and it was a wonderful event. Wonderful
Absolutely.
event, and all good news for our town.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thanks.
I think it would be nice too, in addition to giving, I will assume, perhaps I should not, but we would give a signed copy of the proclamation to Priscilla, but it'd be nice to have it displayed here. Again, I loved that picture. That was online with that, even if it's just for a little bit of time, so that when people come in to visit Town Hall, they could recognize that as well.
Excellent. Sounds good. Talking about the proclamation and good things that go on, I do have to, extend our gratitude to you guys out in the world too, as far as the Macaroni and Cheese Festival. I think went off very well. Being there myself, I thought, other than the rain coming in, but other than that, I think it was a well orchestrated event. I think it was well perceived, and I think a lot of people came to see it. And I think it's great for the community to have community things, especially in the community center of Templeton. So I thought it was a fantastic show myself. I really did. Obviously, the veterans also supported the event as well. And I think
Yes, you did.
I think knowing that not just all the organizations from the from the Lions Club to the Women's Club here in Templeton to Friends of Templeton Elders, Friends of Templeton Veterans, all the friends that came out was just instrumental to the community, and that's what makes the community is, how many you need a village to build a community, right? So I think it was great.
And almost all our local organizations baked mac and cheese for the event.
They sure
So,
did.
Even though they may not have been present, they were working for the event, so it was truly a community thing. And, we came up with a hometown hero because we wanted to recognize someone who's been, advocating for seniors for decades. And, we thought it would be appropriate for Priscilla.
Well, not only that, I think she's instrumental not just for the seniors, but for all different groups that she's out there. She's advocating for a lot of different groups that are out there. From the school to the veterans, to the friends, the elders, and all the groups and support that she's provided to this community. And obviously, she's very well known and very well respected as well. And I think, come, I believe the 26th, I think we're gonna look at the 26th.
That's the date we're trying to coordinate.
We're gonna coordinate on the 26th, hopefully, and then hopefully that will be a great day for her and her family, because they can rejoice and know the support that we're providing to her and her family as well.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Thank you so much, Gail. Waiver for first refusal? Yes, sir.
My name is Robert LaFortune, and I represent Adrian and Andrew Ames, who own property between Route 2A and 101
Mhm.
Gardner Road. The property was put into Chapter 61B, which is a special tax category, a little over a year ago. And then a decision was made, the people, the Graves Cement Company wants to buy some land behind their plant, and it's part of that 61B. So what we've done is the 61B, for them to sell it, requires a notice to the town. We gave a 120-day notice to the town of the town's right to first refusal. And we had a letter back in January saying that the board at that time had decided they were going to waive their rights. In the meantime, we did a title search and found an old mortgage that we had to chase down, and it had never been released. The person who had the mortgage had died. So we've got that all squared away now, and we want to go forward. There was a letter from the assessors raising a question about a certain easement across a corner of the property that is presently owned by Graves. And I talked to the assessors about it. I think they're satisfied. There's no problem there. There were 3 easements that are shown on the survey, and I gave you a copy. I gave the clerk earlier in the week a copy of the survey, but I have a copy here. It's been approved by the planning board. And I don't know if you can all see it, but so this Gardner Road is up here, and the cement plant is here, and there's a dotted lines that go across the corner of the Graves' present property, and they're there for 3 purposes. One of them, the most recent one, was to create a sewer easement for the town, and that's going to stay. Nothing's going to change. There's a piece of land out behind, up near the Gardner Road, that it's called the ball field. I think they intended to have a ball field out there. There's a grant to the town in the 1930s of that land and a right to go across this property, and that's gonna stay. Nothing changes. There's a 3rd easement that when the Ames sold the front land that now owned by Graves, they kept a right in this cart road, and they're going to release it as part of our transaction. And I presented a copy of the deed that's going to do that. So I'm here to answer your questions, but I'm here to get your signatures. If I can.
So that's the real reason.
That's the real reason.
I got you.
And I've got a form all filled out for it, and ready to do it.
So Attorney LaFortune, you said that they're going to release the right-of-way?
Yeah, you know, there's a house up on.
You know Whitney Tavern? I know you know Whitney Tavern. I'm Georgia.
I do, I'm just,
Okay.
so the only reason that I'm asking that is because in here, in the letter, it says it is recommended that the right-of-way passage continue to be referenced on the current deed. Luann? And then you just said that was so there wouldn't be that, but then when I was looking through the paperwork, I couldn't tell which,
There's still a deed reference.
The assessors had the right instinct. They didn't want the town to give up any easements that the town
okay.
had. And that's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
But the easement that's referred to in that letter is incorrect in the sense that it belongs to the Ames family.
right,
To go from the house
Oh, to
across
the-
that little
okay.
piece. And then a deed, we're getting rid of that, and you have a copy of that deed, so that's gone.
okay.
There's a note on the plan, note number 8, and it refers to these easements.
I didn't get a copy of the plan, but I read through the,
I can come around and get closer to it, like the.
okay, so, subject to easement. Okay, so this is the new deed, and I think I was reading the old deed, so it's fine. That's,
That would explain it. Yeah, that explains it.
okay, so I think now that you say that and Luann said it's fine, and, yep, I'm good.
Good?
Good, yes, thank you.
Okay. Now, the form I gave you was marked as a draft, but I've got one done with today's date on it. You have 5 members. I'd like to have all 5 signatures if we can have them.
Yeah, like,
And if the chairman will
This one,
say
right?
that it's being signed of the board's free will, I'll notarize the signature when I get back to my office.
But it has a sunset date in it, you need to
Okay.
fill in.
Well,
You have to what?
You need to fill in the sunset
I have
date.
to notarize
that'll
at
be
least
what?
one signature, and usually we do the chairman.
understood.
approve.
I would ask them what the sunset date should be first.
Attorney LaFortune, what is the sunset date?
For me,
The date
sunset
that
date,
needs-
I put in the October 31st, but hopefully we'll,
That's reasonable, you don't
I'd
want.
like to get it done this month if we can.
Okay.
Because if something happens to that deal, then they can basically go ahead
It goes away.
and sell it.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the notice of non-exercise and to sign in the waiver of first refusal option to be signed by the Board of Selectmen with a sunset date of October 31st, 2017.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any further discussion? I see none. Cameron?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Chairman, on
Yes.
the first line.
And I vote yes as well.
You only need 4 signatures, so
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
Now, after this is notarized, can we get a copy of this as well?
Here's a copy for
Sure.
you.
Can you give that to Holly?
I'm sorry.
That's his problem.
I'm gonna need a copy of that.
Unless you wanna notarize it.
I can do it.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna suggest that the assistant to the town administrator notarize it, since she has seen all your various IDs, and we wouldn't place
I was just trying to
counsel
make-
in the position
just trying to-
of us having put a plant at the table.
Understood. Thank you.
Insert the name of the chairman here.
Yeah, we'll tend to this right now, if you can just wait a few moments.
Thanks, Holly.
But it's one less thing for you to do tonight. One less thing for you to do.
What kind of work have you done? I drive by there all
Oh,
the
on the
time.
house?
Curious.
Mostly been trying to take the trees away that are
Yeah.
trying to eat the roof and the chimney. And then, other than that, we've been doing some stuff on the inside, but nothing.
Have you found any
too bad.
interesting artifacts on the property itself?
We've got, somebody came asking to do some metal detecting and stuff. The boys,
Yeah.
Warren and Alan, when he was alive, all of them have all gone through the land
Yeah.
so much that a lot of what would have been found has already been found. But there's a ton of stuff. I mean, the house, you've got to see it, Diane. The house is just,
Has a lot of historic significance here, and I know that you know that.
oh, yeah, oh, yeah. And
'Cause
I
some
know
of
it-
the-
it up there, but it's
Yeah, I think some of the wood from, was it the barn that was out back? Do you know where you all know where the old tavern is, down the street?
Whitney
So,
Tavern?
some of that wood went up the street to a different
Yes.
home.
Yeah, they took part of the house off and took it to, I believe it's on Baker Lane, but unfortunately, I believe that house is burned down.
Yeah,
But,
I'm not good with all of that stuff,
Yeah.
but,
that's my understanding. Adrian has found various notes that Warren and Harold, have left. I've found a treasure trove of photographs. I'm still cataloging
That's
photographs.
nice.
And going back, centuries, but, from the first of photography. But
Oh, that must be nice.
it's wonderful.
I'd love
But
to
there's
see
just so
that.
much, and Warren was a maven for recording what he could remember, and he's got maps. He's got an old one of these from, not old, from 72, but he's gone through and amended and drawn where the groves were, where the pines were, where all the original things, where the gypsy camp was. He wasn't too popular, his grandfather, with Gardner, because they would let the gypsies stay on the land. So, but yeah, there's tons of stuff like that. Things
have you
that-
reached out to like Harry Aldrich or Brian Tangway or any of them to just kind of ask some, they definitely know and probably understand more
I need to do that.
I think they
wanna
would love
have
to see
some
some of
things-
what you have,
Oh, yeah,
too.
I agree, but that's part of my problem is I wanna have some of what
Yeah.
I have in an organized fashion
Right.
where I can, loan it and know what I've lent or not lent,
Mm.
you know. 'Cause
It looks nice with some of the trees gone now. I just think that that's an
Towns can
amazing,
breathe now.
Yeah.
I mean, and
yeah, absolutely.
it's, I mean, we've got so much work we've gotta do on the house, which is why the boys are selling the land to the Braves, and thank goodness, the Fletchers, the Fletchers
still
have been so
here.
patient on getting this process done.
Right,
Because we
right.
discovered that my late father-in-law's wife had done a mortgage between the two of them back and forth, and then they both died, and her daughter says, yes, it was paid, I know it was paid, well, but we don't have any proof
Well, you
it
don't have
was
any record
paid,
of that.
So that's, it's
Good for
been
you
one of
guys.
those kind of French farce kind of things,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've got a ton of things, I mean, just, Warren's put business stickers with, this is Jonathan Greenwood's rifle from the Revolutionary War, and this
I'm
was
sure that's a
so-and-so's.
lot of amazing historical facts, right?
It's in between 101 and 2A.
It's right, if you drive right down here and you go past, you're gonna head towards Gardner.
Last
It's the
house on the
brown and
left.
black building on the left.
It's the last house in town on the
Yeah,
left.
just before the Gardner line.
We used to be number 1 East Main Street, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, you could miss it, but you kinda can't now because
can't
there's no,
anymore.
trees there, but when I first.
It looks great without the trees.
Started
The
writing
house
about
is breathing,
history,
you're
Yeah.
right.
I
It
Yeah.
looks
from the
really
street and I
nice.
went right up to the house.
You can almost feel the house
Yeah.
kind of stand up a little more.
She reached out to me, it's beautiful there on Facebook and asked me, like some of the stuff that, it's really nice. The person who, owns the, Elizabeth Ward house on Baldwinville Road reached out to me too. I went over there and she gave me kind of a tour of the yard and it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that stuff. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, and we, when we can get it to a point, then we want to have, sort of an inauguration
Is that all
of a
set,
new life.
Mr.
of it.
Kinzie?
It is.
Good. All right.
thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much. Let's moving on. Appointments.
What needs to happen with these? Do you know what needs to happen with the appointments, or do we need Holly for
Well,
that?
there's only, these ones, these need the motion, but these ones, like, we can't really, we need a TA, we need a TA, we need an alternate TA, we need a, do you know what I'm saying? Like, so, there's nobody for these, that Mark,
Yeah, see them.
I think it wouldn't hurt to wait till the next.
for these ones, we should
Yeah,
make them,
you
but
can get
here, we
these-
really
you can get these
can't, if you
done.
don't mind, John,
I
so,
agree.
TA stand for on this?
make a motion
Town
to,
administrator.
these will be,
Did you really just ask?
No, I was- I
recorded,
didn't
these will be
think
left
concerned
in
about
the,
these
like what you
boards.
did before in the town clerk's office and the
That
board of
makes sense.
selectmen's office.
Mhm.
So make a motion to appoint, Lawrence Bankowski and Derek Hall to the Communications Commission for a term of 3 years expiring June 30th, 2020. An appointment to the Stormwater Committee for Robert Dennis for 1 year to expire June 30th, 2018. An appointment for Hank Mason to the Templeton Elementary School Building Committee for 1 year to expire June 30th, 2018. And the trench safety agent of Larry Bankowski, 1 year for June 30th, 2018.
I have a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion, second. Any other discussion concerning these appointments?
I'm gonna assume that Lawrence and Larry Bankowski are the same.
They are not, they may not be one and the same. There's a junior and a senior. It just doesn't, I don't wanna, I'm reading it exactly as it's
Mhm.
written. So we would need Holly for that.
Okay, yeah, we definitely need some clarification on that because
I'll ask her to fill in the
who
appropriate.
is the junior, who's the senior, just for reference. Okay.
Understood. I have a motion, second. Any other discussion concerning the appointments? See none. Cameron?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
Okay. We're gonna do the Mart stuff the next
And
meeting,
the
so.
other ones we'll handle on the 26th.
The other appointments we're gonna table.
Yes, we're gonna handle those on the 26th, yep. Treasurer Collector, Mr. Contini?
Mr. Chairman, it's my pleasure to submit to you this evening for your consideration and hopeful confirmation the appointment of Cheryl Richardson as Treasurer Collector for the term to end on June 30th, 2020. Cheryl, would you mind standing up for a moment?
Hi.
Ms. Richardson comes to us highly recommended by those we've chatted with. She has a strong history of residency and work here in North Central. We've given you her resume. She would be under contract as provided for by statute. We provided you with a copy of that a draft contract as well. Ms. Richardson bested 13 other applicants, and I think that Kelly and I are both very confident in this appointment. I hope that you saw in her resume what we saw, which is someone who has a grasp of accounts management, that someone needs to start with the basics, the drive and energy to learn the particulars of municipal finance in general, and her office duties in specific. And though you haven't had a chance to really meet her and get to know her yet, the temperament to fit in with our team and become a productive member of it. Thank you. If you have questions with respect to the contract, I would respectfully ask that we deal with those in executive session in case it yields some sort of negotiating issue different than what I've proposed. Other than that, I will say that I think we were very pleased with the quality of the applicants and with the candidate that we put forth for you. We did also give you the package with respect to the very rigorous and lengthy process for becoming certified as a treasurer and as a collector, a process which you saw in the contract will be one of her responsibilities to pursue diligently.
Right, anybody else have anything for,
I would just, anybody feel like we need to, I read through everything, but does anybody feel like we need to go into executive session? Mr. Forts?
I certainly don't think that we need to go into it. I read this pretty thoroughly, and I was fine with it.
she was fine with it?
Oh,
No
thank you.
executive
I
session
make a
for her?
motion to appoint Cheryl Richardson as the treasurer collector with a term to end on June 30th, 2020, subject to the signing of the enclosed employment contract.
And to authorize me to sign that, because it's the
Yeah.
appointing authority that technically signs it under the statute.
And to have the town administrator sign the employment contract.
Okay, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any other discussion? I see none, Cameron?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. And I vote yes as well.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Good things, right? Always good things, always good things.
Mr. Chairman, I just, if I might,
Yes.
the reason that I enclosed the statute is I've had, during my time here, one or two department heads indicate an interest, one of whom's no longer with us, in having a contract. In order for employees to have contracts, they must either be authorized specifically by statute, which exists only for basically your finance people and your management people. So, police and fire. Not every department head is authorized under statute, or you must have a bylaw. So it's important to know that there has to be some underlying authority.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Tenzini.
Thank you very much, Cheryl.
Thank you, good luck. Veteran Service Director.
Mr. Former Veterans Services Director, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I'm pleased to present to the board this evening Sergeant Jessica Butts as a prospective Veteran Services Director. We had 5 applications. 4 candidates were chosen for interviews by a panel consisting of yourself, Major Michael Curry, and Ms. Luann Royer sat in that to get the sort of customer service and civilian side of things. She would be appointed for until June 30th of 2020, subject to a 6-month probationary period. She understands that we would expect at least 2 regularly scheduled set of office hours during the course of the week, and we'll work out whatever that's going to be. She is a full-time student pursuing her nursing degree. So when she finishes at the Mount, she'll move over to Fitchburg, and I'm looking forward to having some stability, because we kind of a symbiotic relationship here. She needs money, we need a veteran services director.
Right. And
I'm hoping this is going to be a nice lengthy arrangement here. We have attached her resume, and I think what I sat with her individually myself, and it was her desire coming out of her tours of duty and coming out of the service to make sure that her fellow veterans were aware of the benefits that are eligible, they are eligible for, and her desire to sort of motivate them.
It's a good word.
Which is, I think a good combination. So she's here, we can answer any questions that you might have, but I'm pleased to be able to present her to you this evening.
Great, thank you, Mr. Tenzini.
Any questions?
Jessica, how are you?
Good.
Did you have a good day today?
Good.
Was it tough?
Not really. A lot of information. Lots of mentally.
A lot more to come, I guess, a lot more to come. Well,
Nice pace.
it's great to see you. Great to have you on board.
Yeah,
what
I
any
would
objections?
first like to say thank you for all that you've done for our country, serving in Afghanistan,
Mhm,
Iraqi freedom,
mhm.
and sorry, I'm not good at reading today, but for all that you've done for us, I will make a motion to appoint Jessica L. Butts to the Veterans Services Director to expire for a 3-year term with a 6-month probation, right?
Sounds good. I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion, and a second. Any other discussion? I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. And the chair votes yes as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jan. Welcome aboard.
Awesome. Tomorrow at 8:30.
All right.
Cool. 2017 budgets.
Well, we reviewed the latest APs that were all input today, and I'm pleased to tell you we don't need any additional transfers to be submitted to you. We have the 2 that go to the advisory committee Wednesday evening,
Okay.
but we've closed out the year. It appears given the way we started it, I think we closed it out pretty well. And again, I just want to repeat, that really was due to some difficult decisions this board made and some really dedicated efforts by the staff to help create some monies available for transfer.
That's good. That's fantastic. That's good. That's great to hear. Anyone have any questions on that? Any questions,
No.
comments on the
No,
budget?
thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Kelly, as always. Action regarding the IMATM subcommittee.
You want me to?
Did you action?
Well, we didn't know where you were, whether this was gonna actually be a document, or whether
Oh,
this might
yeah.
just be an update.
So for a
I
recap,
think it was a
Balance of the
recap.
board.
I mean, it says action,
I'm
but
like, action, I'm like, what?
for a recap, we had met with Winchendon, we had reviewed the contract. And we had some inquiries on the verbiage within the contract that we had sent to both town administrators to kind of figure out more clear and defined agreement. So much to say because one is a town administrator, one is a town manager for verbiage purposes, I guess, for clarity purposes. So we will be meeting again this Thursday, I believe in Winchington again at 6 o'clock in their big fancy auditorium or opera room. And we should be getting very close to finishing the contract at that meeting and to be presenting to the boards for their approval on a later date.
Excellent. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, Cam summed it all up.
Fantastic. Thanks, Cam, for summing that up. Appreciate it.
Yep.
So that's this Thursday
Yes,
at 6:30?
yes. 6.
6 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, moving on to some more business. Open space land project. How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you? So when last we
John.
met, hello, we
Hi,
were
Carrie.
awaiting the appraisal so that we could complete the land application to submit to the state.
Right.
We have, I had my dates messed up. I thought it was due the 21st, it's actually due the 12th. So we need, we have Wednesday, yeah. So we had gotten the approval for me to act as the representative. I don't know if you guys have signed a letter to that effect yet. I have a draft here for that, but it's not on letterhead. The project, the appraisal was for the 102 acres at that the Walter E. Fernald Corporation owned. You recall the map, it's 4 different parcels. It came in at $254,000, so that's approximately $2,500 an acre. I do have a summary of those costs that I can give to you. I apologize for the short notice. The appraiser just got our final report in. So what I'm looking for from you folks tonight is approval to submit this proposal to the state. And if I can get that and your signature then on the documents, we will overnight it to Boston tomorrow. And and it'll go on record as having been filed. So you'll see here, it varies based on how wet it is and what the opinion of the appraiser was. I have the full appraisal report that goes through all the details that I will certainly make, but it follows the state-approved process of setting the values. So, $254,000 proposal, plus $5,000 in ancillary work. I have the application right here to share with you, give you the specifics. So we're asking, and I have a draft of the town meeting article that we would submit in the fall. So $254,000 for the property, $150 for recording fees, and $5,000 in title survey. Those are all eligible reimbursable costs if this were to be awarded. Templeton's reimbursement rate on this type of a LA&D project would be 70%. So we would be asking the state for $181,405 out of the $259,000, $150 price. So if it's approved, we then need to go to the townspeople to ask for a approval to appropriate this from CPA funds. The project goes forward, the deal is closed, and then the paperwork is submitted to the state, and the state would reimburse us the $181,000. So the net cost to the town would be $77,400 and some odd dollars for the 102 acres up at the Fernald School. So,
There's a lot of information to take in. So $77,400 would be left payable to us, and there was $181,000 that would be paid by Massachusetts. What was the total bill? I see that it's $254,000 is the total bill, but with those additional costs, if you could run.
$259,150 is what.
150. And that, the additional costs on that, just so I can.
Recording fees, $150, title certification, $5,000, and if it came in at less than that, then we would pay less.
And what is the, I apologize if you don't have these numbers on hand. Do you know what the CPC fund balance is currently?
Well,
Ballpark estimate
Kelly
would
just
be-
left, we have about $1 million.
Okay.
As a result, Kelly's done a wonderful job, I would like to compliment her on that, and we have taken the recommendations of the auditors, and she's, got some practices in place, and, we have a strong balance, so.
Excellent.
Now, what's
So-
your recommendation?
I am all for this.
That's why you see it.
He said that last
I want-
meeting.
but I
I
wanna
wish we
hear-
could have done the whole thing.
I wanna hear,
Could I-
like, from you, like, I mean, I understand the verbiage piece and the paperwork stuff, but, I mean, as
Now,
far
can I
as,
see the appraisal?
getting all this stuff done, I mean, how is, I mean,
So what this will do, so this is 4 parcels that are located up amongst, the federal school or the PDC, whatever we
Mhm.
call it, consists of 2,000 acres of state land, and now these 400 acres interspersed,
mhm.
460 acres that are now owned by this corporation. This corporation is kind of waning in its existence, it seems, so we don't know what they would do with it. The land is not protected, it is in an RA5 area, so it would be a minimum of 5 acres required per house lot, so that's all factored in there into the evaluation of the cost. And so what it provides is 102 acres, which is a lot of land to most of us, but amongst 2,000, it's not as significant, but it also provides the framework to further protect other lands by demonstrating to the state that we as a town are interested in seeing the land conserved. We have 2 wedges there. One is to work with Fish and Wildlife
Mhm.
to try to conserve the other 345 acres or thereabouts that are owned by the corporation, and then also to send a letter to the commissioner, and this is something that I've been advised to do by some past legislators who's been
Right.
friends of this, Senator Brewer has indicated that if the town's people wanna see that land preserved, we should be sending letters to the commissioners to try to get them to pony up as to what their plans are in the future. We've always been on, well, what's going on,
Right,
everybody
right.
wants to know, and the consensus that I have heard, and of course, nothing is ever 100%, but, that land is so valuable to us as part of our heritage and part of the scenic vistas and the open space nature of the land. It's, the land that is up there, that is fields, that does belong to the states, are still protected under that work that Senator Brewer did. This land was taken out of that because it was not owned.
Right.
So, the other thing that we're looking for you is, on the second agenda item, is to submit our draft open space plan. That came out in the public meetings, that was important to the folks, to keep the land open, to keep it conserved. And so it is evidenced in here as well, and so that'll be important for them to see as they evaluate and score the proposal. It is competitive, you might have seen the paper, Gardner's submitting one for a big parcel up near Winchendon, and then when I had to go to MRPC to get their blessing, they were alerting us of another one in Lancaster. They're only gonna fund about 15, so it's not a slam dunk that we're gonna get this money, but if we don't ask, then we won't get. And of course, everything is contingent upon town meeting approval.
Understood.
And even if we do go forward and we do not get funded, I would still advocate that we get the vote in the fall to see what the townspeople would say. That makes for a stronger proposal the following year, because now you have the vote in hand that says the money is in place.
I gotcha. All right. Tony, you have any questions?
Yeah, you guys are meeting this Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but of course, this will, if you guys will sign it, it will go off tomorrow.
I motion for.
Okay, hold on a second. Yes,
John,
Julie?
I would like to have you ask the appraiser to correct, it is Freight Shed Road, not Freight Sled Road. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I'm
When
sorry,
you
I didn't
look at-
notice that.
Would you please,
Yep.
the rest of it looks. You can, scan and make that available, correct? Or they can,
Yeah, no, I can email, well, it's a
Sorry,
20
just-
megabyte document, so I don't know how we can Google Doc it, if you guys do that, or whatever. That's the same with this open space plan, they're so cumbersome, but Google Docs will work.
we had that,
Yeah, he will have to, we have a PDF.
yeah, so just ask him to fix that,
Oh, that'd be great.
please, thank you.
He will make the.
Julie, I think you, excuse me, Julie, you were first. You have a question?
Yeah, does the town have right to first refusal on any of that land?
No, none of this land has ever been put in any chapters.
Okay.
Yes, Luann?
John, just a question, is that the land I've been working on that I subdivided into Walter E. Fernald Corp.?
Yes,
And is it possible to get some mapping of that so I know exactly what areas you're looking at?
Yes, I have the deed references and actually the parcel numbers. I can give you a copy of this after.
Okay,
It's,
great.
there are 4 parcels. There are a total of, there's the one big one, you know, that this is not part of that. There's 4 smaller ones, and then the 6th parcel is the one that actually has the store on it. This has nothing to do with that. There's no buildings on this land. One is by the, one is off of 68, one is on, next to Beaver Brook, and then another one is interspersed in there with limited frontage. But we have the maps, we've brought them in the past. I could certainly, I'll give you a copy of the whole thing, Luann.
Okay, thanks.
Great, thank you. As you were saying, Diane, sorry.
I know whether we had paperwork last time to know like what motions to make. We made the motion for John to be able to represent. I thought we had
Yep.
signed something, so you need a motion to be able to submit it
Yes.
to.
So, we are seeking the municipal legals authority to apply for the grant and the chief executive officer's signature.
Okay.
So this is a resolution, motion, or similar action that has been duly adopted or passed as an official act of the community's governing body. So if you make a motion to, as a board, authorize submission of this land acquisition for natural diversity proposal, land proposal, then Mr. Kaplis can sign, hopefully 2 copies, just because we need to send them 2. And then that other thing,
So I make said motion, subject to approval, with the signing of the chairman of the board.
Okay, I have a motion and do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion second. Any discussion concerning that?
I believe last meeting we had, when we had motion for this, it was pending the zoning board or the planning board?
that was the other
That was
article.
the other
one.
The
Okay.
other issue.
Okay.
Okay, so this one, I have a motion and second. Any other discussion?
I just wanted to say thank you and good luck with that. I think it's a wonderful idea of what you're doing, what you're going forward with. And it's good to see that people are showing the interest in the wetlands up there. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I see none. Cameron?
Yes.
Julie?
I'll abstain.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. And I vote yes as well. Thanks, Julie.
Okay, so if you could sign just both of those above your name. Holly, did you have him sign that thing that we voted last time?
Give me a stamp.
The letter?
Yeah. Did you, or do you have a copy of that?
Yeah,
Okay, because I printed something that you
yeah,
can
I
sign
do
right
have
now.
it signed.
Can I get that tonight? Can I just have him sign this now? That it's the same, it's not on your letterhead. The only reason is that I need to get it in the mail tomorrow. I could come by tomorrow morning at 7.
Let me go see it, let me go see if it's in the folder, I believe it was in the folder from last time.
I just wanna say John has done a tremendous amount of work in his own time. He has just worked really, really hard on this.
I can see that, and it's good. It's good to see.
Very impressed.
Well,
We're all set.
my wife.
So John, we'll need a copy of
Yeah,
that.
Of that and,
For our-
I'll make a copy of everything.
okay.
The appraisal should be fixed first. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, to be able to, if the public wants to be able to see that, that is a really, again, they're gonna have to downsize it a bit, but I prefer to
We'll
see
put it in a
that
zip file
correction
or something.
first.
Put it in a zip file.
Yes, well,
Press
I
it
don't
to
know
make it
how it's
web ready.
accessed on the town website, but people want to see, that.
Yep.
And they should.
Yeah, definitely. Let me get it all together and,
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and then I will bring a copy to you this week.
And when was your meeting again? Is that Thursday night?
Thursday, yep, second Thursday, and it is, 6 p.m. here.
6 p.m. here.
Thank you so much. Always looks better on letterhead.
Okay, what's next?
So the other thing is to discuss the draft open space plan, and so that also needs to be submitted concurrent to this. There are 3 required letters of support needed to get the approval. That one is the Board of Selectmen, one is the Planning Board, one is the Regional Planning Commission. I have the one from MRPC, Mr. Hume, The planning board, because of the short notice, hasn't had a chance to vote on it yet. However, speaking to my consultant, she indicated that the important thing is to get the draft in on time. It is only a draft, there's gonna be plenty of time for them to review and comment, and so any comments that would be made, would be changed in that. You're not even allowed to print this, on any official document until Division of Conservation Services gives you the okay. So they will get this with draft, because I went to Staples and made the copies, and it doesn't say draft on every page, but it's got some beautiful color maps and things like that. So what I drafted for a letter for you is, pending your approval, of course, the Templeton Board of Selectmen has received, reviewed, and approved the draft Templeton Open Space Plan and Recreation for submission to the Division of Conservation Services for review and approval. We expect the Templeton Open Space Committee will inform this board of any required follow-up and will act accordingly to meet all DCS requirements. So that's the language that I used to make sure that you weren't saying that it's totally blessed because of the whole planning board issue.
Mhm.
It is going on their next agenda, but this needs to go in the overnight tomorrow. So, I'm hoping that you'll sign these as well.
Who's gonna sign those?
That would also be the chairman, if you guys vote to do so.
Great.
I would like to see that on our letterhead. I'm sorry?
Should just be able to copy it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Can you
I mean,
copy
if
it onto letterhead? I
Yeah,
left it.
that's
If
not-
John signs it, we can
Okay.
photocopy it.
So
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the letter of support for the draft open space plan to be signed by the chairman of the board.
Okay, I have a motion, have a second?
I'll second
I have
that.
a motion, and a second. Any discussion concerning the open space plan? Draft plan. It's only a draft. I see.
I think I said draft.
You did say
Did I say-
draft.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
You said it twice.
That's
Kim?
Now it's 3
Speak
times.
today.
Kim?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
Mm.
That's a yes.
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
I vote yes as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, one further point of order, for a point of clarification, I did the one of these is an ADA self-evaluation as a part of this, and so we've had a report in the past that's done, and we've followed it up by reviewing it and surveyed again the properties, and so one thing that we need to update is, I need to check to see if you have appointed an ADA coordinator. In the past, it was the building inspector, Larry Brandt. And so, that's something that you need to address sometime. I know this is new, so it's nothing that you need to vote on tonight, but,
We have to reference who it is.
yeah.
Is-
So,
John, hold on a sec. Holly, is that one of the additional duties for the building inspector?
I'm gonna say it's concurrent with his contract,
Oh, that's, I remember seeing something.
but it has been appointed as well.
Okay,
I don't know if it has this year, I can check, I'm gonna go.
all right, we'll check on that.
okay, that's wonderful.
We'll check on that.
But other than that, that's it.
Is that all you got?
That's it.
Good job.
More
Okay,
than enough.
Thank you.
Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work.
All right, well, we'll let you know.
Bells went off. It's great.
Doug, I'm gonna request that you leave your phone in the office from now on.
Can't take you anywhere.
Bells of St. Mary.
I was wondering if
That or it's the submarine.
All right, so we got that. Regarding the OML compliance responses,
Oh, do we distribute those?
Complaint response, you mean?
complaints response, yeah, excuse me, complaints response, thank you.
One for
Yeah, one per each member. There should be one there for each member.
Okey dokey.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
So I had, it seems like there's a mess up with this printing here, but, I think
Did
this
they
is.
not get copied both sides, Cameron?
No.
I did not get copied both sides. So I have,
I didn't either.
We have a coffee snafu.
mine's,
There should be 4 responses.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't have.
one,
that.
two, oh, it's
Yeah,
not.
see, ours are not.
You're special. We don't have it.
Oh, yours are back to back? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I will speak to it, when we receive them. So, in response to these 4 open meeting law complaints filed by Mr. May, I had been tasked with a response, and I was to submit them to Mr. Terenzini for his review on diction, spelling, and grammar. Upon review of them, I had contacted the Attorney General's office and spoke to one Kelly Kilcoyne, who had advised me on these open meeting law complaints. I had presented to her word for word what Mr. May had stated, and I had based my response to these open meeting law complaints based off of her advisement. I had taken it a step further, which was one of them, which was actually the first one that we can see here, that there was an allegement that we had not entered into executive session to discuss town employees on June 19th, 2017, which was the date we had just filed our open meeting law complaint against the advisory board committee, excuse me. And so I had to contact the Ethics Commission, which would be regarding special municipal employees. The Ethics Commission, and her name eludes me. I can't speak to it, but she had stated to me that special municipal employees are not municipal employees, but rather they are appointments. So as if, you have somebody in the sewer commission, they also work for the sewer department, you would appoint them a special municipal employee to avoid conflict of interest laws. So special municipal employees, which the advisory committee may or may not be, would not allow them to be considered municipal employees, and they are not subject to the labor rights. And the Attorney General had also spoken to that, saying that there was no need to enter executive session to file open meeting law complaints. And that's, all of these follow those advisements between the Ethics Commission and the Attorney General's office, and we only have 2 of them, so we'll wait till we get the other.
Okay.
I don't know if you want them read aloud. I would suggest no, because they will be filed to Mr. May. The only finding and recommendation would be the one in which Mr. May alleged that there was a violation by Mr. Carter Terenzini for acting on behalf of the chairman of the board for following up information. And speaking to the Attorney General had stated that Mr. Carter Terenzini is not subject to open meeting law violation, and therefore no action can be taken for that. There was also notification that due to technicality, it would appear that the chairman of the board should have followed up on the additional information, but also due to technicality, the additional information, there was no additional information request. It was information that Mr. May had provided to Mr. Kaplis, and within the scope of his capabilities and his capacity of duties, he was requesting the information already present.
We'll have the others in the.
Hold on a minute. These are all the same. I'll take one, pass them down. Is this the last thing on the agenda?
It is.
Okay, so we'll wait.
Poor trees.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is for the second one?
Yeah, Carter's got the rest, bring
Okay,
them in.
so the first one was the one regarding special municipal employees that were received. This one that we are getting now was the violation of a complaint by Selectman Forts, was not under the purviews of the Board of Selectmen. Again, the Attorney General had said since we had filed the complaint through the through the Board of Selectmen and submitted it to the advisory chair, there was no violation to be found.
And there's two more?
There is two more. I was a busy man this weekend.
You okay in the back? You all right? Just checking on you.
I'm gonna start charging by the mile.
Did you just say that?
Was that out loud?
I don't know, I never hear that,
It
but I'm like,
was.
did you say I'm
I
gonna
hope
charge
the
by the
camera
mile?
got that, Holly.
Should be wearing your Fitbit.
Plenty of steps in tonight.
How many steps you got in?
20,000, I think.
Just too many trees, you know?
Okay.
So then the second one that we had received, which was the OML violation in 940 CMR 29.03, which was adding items to the agenda 8 hours prior to the automatically scheduled meeting and therefore holding an emergency meeting. After reviewing the records and with the Attorney General, there was no immediate emergency meeting held. And that she had said, Kelly Kilcoyne at the Attorney General's office says, items can be added to the agenda and discussed the day of, as long as they are not reasonably anticipated. Whereas the open meeting law complaints were finished that day and added to the agenda, there was no violation to be found. And since there was no emergency meeting seen, it wasn't relevant. And the last one, which was Mr. Kaplis and Mr. Carter Terenzini regarding the follow-up information. She said that based on technicality, there could be a potential violation on the chairman of the board by having Mr. Terenzini request additional information and reaching out directly. However, since he did not request any additional information, whereas Bob May had stated that he had emails that were to be provided to you, and Mr. Carter acting in his capacity as the town administrator to gather information to present to the Board of Selectmen, there was no violation to be found. However, once again, the only remediation of that issue is to avoid further potential OML violations of this nature. We will ensure that the chairman of the board will request and compile information to present to the board regarding all documentation, whether it is additional or information disclosed prior. And that would cover all four.
Okay.
And I believe these have to be submitted tomorrow morning.
It's 14 days.
Yep.
14 days tomorrow?
14 days since we had received it.
Will be tomorrow?
I believe so.
Okay. Good work. Mr. Tenzini, you had an opportunity to review those?
I did.
Thank you.
I think they're on point. If these are your responses, I would respectfully suggest that you motion, second, and vote to provide these to the complainant as the board's collective response, and then execute the several letters, sign them. Rather execute them, but.
Okay. I got you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion concerning the complaints? I see none. Karen?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Diane? Doug? Yes. And I'll vote yes as well. Now, do we have the originals of these? Are they in the office?
Cameron has all the originals, I believe, or Holly does, which,
I don't know if
or they're at both ends,
And-
so.
Yeah, we wanna put this on an official letterhead, correct?
Yeah, she's,
This,
Yeah,
well,
here's the
just
file.
nice
They
paper.
didn't get copied, collated, but-
thank you. So that's being tossed around.
I would wait till afterwards.
Okay, any other, any public comments at this time?
Public comments.
Huh?
Public comments?
Yeah, public comments. Yes, sir.
I think it was, I guess it was unfair to ask Holly to notarize that thing. We rushed through it all and kind of mutilated the document. So I went and printed another one, kind of Trevor, you put another set of signatures and Trevor, you finalized. The registry of deeds is very fussy about documents, they can't read the handwriting or the printing or whatever. They bounce them and, you know, we have to start over again, so.
I understand. You can bring it forward, sir.
To the extent that I participated in it, I'll take the.
Thank you. I'll go left and go right. So, no public comments, moving on. Board and staff comments, any reports?
I have, for the workshop coming up regarding the audit work papers, have been actively figuring out how we should move forward with those documents, and I believe the best option for and to be discussed at the workshop is each of us owning a certain policy and procedure. Whether it be on a 2-week basis, we each, try to figure out a policy and procedure relevant to something that we are, capable of writing, or something that interests us, to kind of hammer out some of these policies and procedures regarding the audits. And the town website project, I had received a call from, what is it? The guys that do our website now, I can't think of it, my brain's totaled.
I gotcha.
But they had called me and they had reported the website traffic.
Point of order.
What?
No, it's okay, go ahead. I got it.
So they had called me regarding the mobile website traffic, and it seems that 50% of our users currently within the town use mobile devices. And they had said to me that that is a concern because we don't have a mobile website-ready platform.
I gotcha.
So they had forwarded me those numbers, and moving towards the workshop, I believe the documentation for the town website project was forwarded to everybody, right, with the scope of the work that we reviewed at the last meeting?
I believe, I've got it. Did you guys get that? The mobile website?
Or the town website renewal project?
Whatever was in the packet, I guess.
Okay. So I would suggest that we review that, because I think we need to move on that ASAP. And I was offering my time to redo the website and review it for accuracy and kind of bring it up to speed so we can implement a new system for the townspeople.
When is our workshop?
It should be Monday.
No, it's not.
And actually, it's not until September unless you schedule one.
Yeah, it's only September, right?
Not until-
July and August are offs.
They're off-season.
They're
We don't
off-season
do
because of the
workshops.
weather, the summer. I'll get with you after.
Can I suggest that we seriously consider hosting a workshop to get this work done?
Do we,
You can
do we pay
seriously
an annual
consider it, yeah.
fee for the
I'll take it under
website?
You do,
advisement.
it's around 24.
That's all I'm asking.
I know, thanks,
Where's-
Kim.
And we can change whatever we want?
New guy.
We have to discuss our-
I want to get some stuff
I
done
know what you
here.
wanna do. I got you.
We all
I
do,
saw
my
the
friend.
picture.
Can you sign this? Because they
Yeah.
would like a new copy. Thank you.
Okay,
I don't think I signed the last one.
thank you. All right, any other comments?
Oh, sorry.
Diane, you have anything?
Yeah. Normally I would come prepared. Well, since I wasn't prepared for my speech at the last meeting, I'm not really prepared now. So, after I spoke at the last meeting and I left, I received a lot of commentary from people I know, like, trust, and respect, and that they're concerned not just about open meeting law complaints, but that we are not working together for the benefit of our community. And these aren't, you know, I would prefer not to always read the blogs, but it's just the commentary. And it is the citizens' right to question their government, and it is our duty to do as such, and we should do that. And I think that if we're gonna come with a problem, and that includes our own board, then we need to come with a solution. And I worked too hard to try to bring it all together, and my only request would be is that please keep pointing out all of our faults, but I would appreciate it if you didn't call us names. We don't, and it's anyone, it is not just the advisory committee, it is not just the Board of Selectmen, and that includes members of the Board of Selectmen. Please do not put in writing name calling. It's not right, and we're not ever gonna be able to, this community expects that we, the board, make policy and procedure, and that we follow the laws and the rules, and so does the committee, who is I believe in the financial guide to management, it says watchdog, and that's what they should be. I respect what you do. I've said that before. I respect what our board does. We're not perfect. You're not perfect. And the only way that we're ever going to move forward, and I know that that term is not meaning collaboratively work together, is that if we just stop I feel like we're in 5th grade, and I don't really want to deal with that anymore emotionally. If you don't want me to lead by emotions, I'm sorry, that's the person that I am, and I'm speaking more for the public. Again, if the public does not like what the Board of Selectmen are doing, recall. Recall. That's really the resource that needs to be done. But I want us to come together and talk logically about the policies and procedures that need to be in place. I was really happy with how the budget process worked, and for some reason, I don't know where, it all broke down in communication, but it's terrible, and I do not want to leave a meeting feeling like that ever again. So, again, I reach out to you personally, whatever the case may be, question your government, I do. That's our duty, but please stop all the name calling and the nitpicking comments. And I see that we do it as well, and I just want it to end. So I will apologize to the community for, again, the people who have written to me have asked for it to stop, and it will stop with me. So, thanks.
Thanks, Diane. Anyone else have any comments?
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna say was to thank everybody who participated in the mac and cheese. It was, a big community effort. All of the clubs and organizations in town, participated, and without, all of their help and all of the help of the volunteers, it would not have been a successful event as it was. So I'm looking forward to it next year, and hope the town enjoys it.
Right. Anything else? Nothing?
Nothing for me, no.
Okay. All right.
Are we having no executive session? correct?
I have nothing.
You, okay.
I have nothing, unless you have something, Diane.
No, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Any other, have a second?
Can I just ask you one question?
I have a motion to second. Any other discussion?
So I was thinking about this
I see
afterwards.
none.
You know how you
Yeah.
send us like
Yes.
documentation,
Julie?
Yes.
Diane?
the resume and the contract?
Diane?
That's,
Yes.
Doug?
should that have been
And the chair votes yes as well.
Or is that private?
We
It should
are
be-
adjourned.
Okay, so we've, the